on part two. Yeah, we had a fire alarm, so we just sort of we skedaddled. We're now on a bike ride and probably not going to be able to sort of watch and channel at the same time. So you're going to go in the bag for a sec. Okay. Love and light to you guys. I'm going to be channeling though. So if you guys can type in the chat for those who may be confused. You know, Virgo, I was just continuing meditating for a little bit of time, and you know, to just kind of get back into it, I feel like honestly, well, there are a few concepts here. One is I feel that you're going to start really realizing where it is that you've been intellectualizing your story, your needs, okay, what's real for you. And I feel honestly, Virgo, I'm just gonna come out and say it, like, you're gonna realize what's been influencing you. You've been dealing with people who not really good, and they're not in the right mind. I'm sorry. And maybe that's to say that honestly, it's just not in resonance with you. Okay? It doesn't mean that those people are bad people or however, it's just not in resonance. So I think that, you know, honestly, Virgo, you're going to be releasing your perspective. If we really reduce it and deduce it to one thing here, it's your perspective. And maybe at a certain point, you know, you're thinking, but like this and but like that, and like I'm hearing Hollywood, but if it's gonna destroy you, I'm hearing this as well. Like maybe this is something that you decide, you know what, I just need to kind of take a different approach with this. And sometimes, you know, we get into a rhythm and we can kind of get stuck on things. I feel like you're not going to be sacrificing what you really feel for the sake of continuing a certain routine. So some of you may need to just kind of take time out to reflect, to contemplate, to make sure that, you know, to recalibrate ultimately, Virgo, to make sure that where it is you're going, where it is you're headed to is in alignment. And, you know, maybe it's a little break, maybe it's like a few days, maybe it's like, you know, however. But I think the point is that you want to be honest with yourself. You want to make sure that where you're headed to in the next cycle and stage is really where you feel that you are going to be moving to. And to make sure that you're not just mobilizing the dreams of others, okay? Just making sense for others of what they feel and what they think. This is about you now, Virgo, is what I'm hearing. This is now about you. Making sure that you're present in what you do and in what you create. So there is a cycle here. There is a storyline. There is a moment of realizing also, you know, your story and yourself in it. Like some of you have been just like way too focused on other people, I feel, or you've been in an environment where, you know, people have been putting a lot of pressure on you, okay, or you know, we have all had those moments where it's like I didn't realize I was literally just like taking on his like luggage, his karma. It was his dream. It's what he wanted, you know, what they had in mind, what they were thinking. I'm seeing someone's like traveling with someone. I'm seeing somebody in Italy here. I don't know. Same as you all. It's like I just always, yeah. It's like I don't know. Like it's time to really start thinking about yourself in equal capacity to so-called others. Now, yeah, it's really a question of your satisfaction. Are you truly happy where you're at? Are you where you want to be at even? Right? Because like, yeah, one second. Let me make sure that we're even like recording. Can you guys hear me? I feel like it's like a little puppy in the sack. Can you guys hear me? Oh, okay. I see Lex says, I love this. Great. So I assume that you guys probably would type if you couldn't hear me. So we can hear. We're good? Clear and run? Oh, great. Okay, great. Okay. So back in the knapsack we go. It's clear and run. So, you know, I'm hearing Aries. You know, some of you maybe had a little argument with someone, and it's like, I'm sorry. Like, you get to the point you realize, you know, maybe as well, where others have been kind of like I'm hearing firing you where they needed you at. I'm not sure what that's alluding to. But it sounds, Virgo, it seems like there's a number of different storylines here and factors, and maybe it's a sheer just complexity. Something has maybe just become complicated and you scale it down, and maybe this is you with yourself, right? Your so-called friends or your so-called boss is you with yourself. And isn't it always reflective? It's an illusion that we are separate beings. So, Virgo, I think, maybe there's a moment where you're like, wow, it was so silly. Like, I let them like sit on my face like that. What the hell? I don't know. Clear the ground, take it as you will. Maybe you just end up kind of like at a certain point, like feeling like, why did I say that was okay? Like, you know, and for some, this could have been at a certain point something you agreed to or something that you saw, but I feel you're just stepping out of the perception more than anything else right now. And it is a moment of regeneration. It is a moment of rehabilitation ultimately, especially right with this Venus being in the sign of Scorpio. And so yes, I'm hearing this is definitely related to your routines, your habits, and you definitely do want to look at where you have Scorpio in your chart from 0 to 30 degrees, and where you've got Virgo, and where you've got Venus. You want to also look at your 7th house and your 2nd house to see, where this theme may come up. So what's coming through in this reading for Virgo, for Venus and Scorpio, may relate to those parts of your chart. So now I'm seeing some of you Virgo as well. There's someone here who it's like, I'm sorry. I just don't see it anymore, It's like the magic has worn off a little bit. Like, okay. I used to literally think like you were like, I'm hearing that song by Enrique Iglesias. I can be your hero, baby. I can't stop. It's like, I don't know. I see you turning offers down now, and maybe this is over a certain period of time. It's like I used to always say yes to those work proposals. I used to always say sure. I'll like your ice cream cone for you. I don't know what that's about, but and now you're like, no, I'm gonna think twice. Oh, think twice. Cause it's another da-da-da-da-da in paradise. Oh, think twice. Cause it's a da-da-da-da in paradise. Ooh, that song, I think you're questioning, well, hey, hold on a second. Can we answer this for a moment? What is paradise? And from my perspective, and so, if it is just in the sense of saying that you don't want to manifest randomly anymore, you're thinking you're getting way more selective, Virgo. Way more selective. You're getting way more, connected to your process of manifestation. You're getting way more involved in that storyline. You're getting way more specific with what it is that you want to manifest. Some of you here, I see you're going to be in a completely new world, and it's almost like you don't have time for, bogus. And so it is something that you really shapeshift with. I'm hearing this like again. And it's funny, we had a fire alarm and we just got straight out of the studio, and now we're just out and about. And so in nature, just roaming more or less. And so there's something that maybe you decide, I don't know why I did that, but I don't need to understand. My next storyline is, and maybe you're just not getting triggered anymore, right? Like the next storyline is now what I want to see, and about my vision, and about my connection to that vision, and strengthening it, empowering it. So I think I see you doing a lot of meditation, Virgo. A lot of meditation here during this time, taking time out. You may be having a spiritual awakening for sure. Many of you, Virgo, I feel. There's a moment where you just break. You're like, oh, fuck, nah. I'm not going to be continuing that storyline. Yeah, that's all I know. I'm hearing that. All I know is I can't continue doing that. Right? So, but again, I don't see it as a strategic thing. I see it as more of something that you I'm hearing you sidestep from, and it's almost like this vibe. It's like a magic carpet of energy just takes you on, and you're on the next leg of your journey. So just plugging in the bike if you're not. For some of you, you know, maybe at a certain point you were worried about what your friends and your family would think. I'm hearing followers for some of you. Like, oh my God, what is Herman gonna think? Is he gonna think I'm still hot? Like, if I decide to cut my hair, I'm hearing this for some of you. It's like, oh, like, you realize, okay? Not just the answer to that question, but like why you're asking that question to begin with. Like, why am I sitting here asking that, period? And yeah, and thinking about these things. Let's clear it. Yeah, you decide to just kind of step out of the storyline. So altogether. And that will mean different things for everyone. You know, feel free to look at where you've got Virgo again in your birth chart. Look at where you've got Scorpio, where your Venus is at. My Venus is coincidentally in the 6th house. Look at also what you've got going on in the 6th house, ruling house of Virgo. My Venus actually on the cusp, 5th, 6th. Anyways, yeah. So anyhow, I wanted to share this message with you guys. I hope it is helpful. And we will possibly jump back in with a part 3, possibly pulling a card for each of the days of this